Bradley, we are going now!
You are watching the All Eyes videocast, an exploration of wilderness rescue techniques, training, stories of success, and lessons learned through collective experience in the beautiful mountains of British Columbia, Canada. The date is May 17th, 2020. I am your host, Tim Lee. I'm a member with British Columbia Search and Rescue Association, and I'm serving with Central Fraser Valley Search and Rescue Society here in Abbotsford, British Columbia. Our world remains in the midst of a response to a global pandemic. We are all struggling to find ways to connect with others that feel normal. As first responders, we continue to respond and adapt to the ever-changing situation requiring our flexibility. Finding ways to connect with our members and engage in meaningful, hands-on practice and learning remains a major challenge. This is the very first episode of the All Eyes videocast. The vision for this has developed and evolved over the past several months, as it's become apparent to me that our traditional methods of training will not be possible at this time. We've had to cancel guided trips out in the Coquihalla. We've had to tell our members that we can't meet at the base, and it's been a real struggle. Despite this, our technical rescuers still need to find ways to keep our skills fresh. Many are practicing at home with their small rope kits. Some are going out doing a bit of climbing at the local bluff and practicing some anchor building, and still others are really struggling. All Eyes is a concept that ensures clear communications. It first appeared to me in the 2018 revised Emergency Management BC Rope Rescue Training Manuals. Technical rescue teams are to essentially focus all eyes together as one on the task that we are to be completing together and the rescue plan. So through interviews with present and former wilderness rescue specialists, this video cast will present hopefully some relevant information for wilderness rescuers from the various specialty technical rescue disciplines that we have in BC and the things that we respond to. Things like rope, swift water, organized avalanche response, mountain, canyon, cave, and helicopter external transport. I also hope that we can delve into some of the lore of our profession and that we will all gain from connecting with those in our community who do hold some great knowledge that they have gained through some often difficult experiences. Through sharing of those experiences, we can all learn how to become stronger and better rescuers. So in this first episode, I did two separate interviews. One was to provide some perspective from a technical rescue team leader who is also a highly skilled rope rescue instructor, and he's an ACMG guide. The second one was with one of our enthusiastic junior team members on BCSAR, who is starting out in his SAR journey and has some amazing promise to grow into a strong wilderness rope rescuer with a niche specialty in canyon rescue. So, for the first interview, I drove up to Squamish, BC to meet with Mr. Kris Wild of Squamish SAR. This interview occurred on Wednesday, May 13th. It just so happened to be his birthday. Hope you enjoy. Here today in Squamish, BC, at the Climb On sports location with
World headquarters
of Climb On in Squamish. It's a beautiful day. You can see the chief over here and Mr. Kris Wild, who has been known for many things.
Maybe even a couple of them are acceptable.
So the one thing I wanted to start off with is finding about, let's figure this out. How long have I known you?
Did we meet before taking that course in Invermere?
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, like we were in, I remember you being a rope instructor for some GI courses where I first sort of met you, I think, with your role in Squamish. When I was up here with Perry Beckham and his little training center over there.
Yeah. I think I was just helping out. I wasn't an official. I wasn't an instructor then. No.
But I'm going to say it's at least going back to 2008. It's well before DCTTRS came out. It's in the old systems.
Yep.
And I probably...
So right around the time I joined the team here then.
So when did you... That's my next question. So when did you join SAR?
I joined Squamish SAR, I believe in... Ooh, no, you know what? It wouldn't have been that long ago I met you then, because I think I joined in 2012.
Okay, 2012.
I think so.
Okay, and so let's just back up a bit. So first of all, acknowledging this is the very first episode of a podcast that's going to be all about tech rescue talk. And the idea, I think I've explained, is that there's rope rescue, we've got swiftwater rescue, HETS, we've got all these different technical disciplines.
Yeah.
Of course, your big specialty is ropes because you're an ACMG rock guide, right? Yeah. You're also here as the equipment developer or seller or pro sales guy for Climb On Sports and Squamish.
Yep.
And you do other things. You work with TRU, right? You're
yeah, I'm an instructor, a sessional instructor with TRU, and so I teach in their adventure studies department for their certificate and diploma programs there, teaching essentially the ACMG discipline rock climbing programs.
Yeah.
And then I teach their rope rescue course as well for their second year. It's kind of a capstone course in their second year, which is essentially it's the JI Tech 1 program.
Yeah.
But since it's not offered outside the JI, we deliver it externally there for them. And I also work with them on some of their international climbing trips that the students plan, and then we execute down normally this time of year, but we can't go this year.
Because COVID's here. All right, okay.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be in Red Rocks right now.
Right now. I was supposed to be down at Smith Rock actually this past week.
Oh, I would have met you there, because we start there and then we go to Red Rocks and then come back to Smith. And then we go.
Yeah, it was going to be my whole big week of adventure, but no, it didn't happen. So we've known each other a fair length of time here, pre-COVID, thankfully.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's always struck me how level-headed you are when you instruct. You're very calm, you're very methodical, and you know your shit, right? So that's
got you all fooled. Then
you do?
Perfect.
Is that right? Would you pick that up from somebody in particular? That special skill, because that is a skill.
I mean, everything we do in life, instruction-wise, as teachers, I think you're always looking for, like, you know, who are the teachers that make it click well for you. And I've picked up, you know, over the last 30 years on some instructors that it really works for me and really jives, and I really, you know, try to emulate their teaching style and stuff, and at the same time trying to be versatile and stuff. So there's definitely been, you know, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants who I definitely appreciate their styles and take little bits and pieces from everybody, and try to you know, put together the best product I can for my students.
Yeah. So something else I'm just realizing as I talk to you is you just mentioned something. Your son phoned. It's dinner time. He's going to make a barbecue, and it turns out it's a special day today. It's your birthday.
Oh.
So how old are you?
44.
44. Oh my gosh. And if anyone's wondering why I'm squinting, I'm 50 and I'm old and my eye is like detached. So you're getting older.
Yeah.
But I guess my question on that is, who are your mentors?
In the rescue discipline?
Yes.
I would say a big one would be John Heshka.
Oh yeah.
Who was a big proponent of the JI's program. He actually ran the technical rescue, the rope department for the JI a bunch of years ago before getting headhunted by Petzl and going down to Salt Lake City for a few years, and helping to launch their professional equipment division. So I've worked with him for years, originally as a student at TRU and then as a co-instructor on the rope rescue programs and stuff like that. And that would be one of my prime mentors, I would say, over the years. He's been an amazing support and encourager of me kind of growing into this program.
And so you've become an ACMG rock guide. So when did that occur?
I had my first ACMG course and evaluation in 97.
97?
And became a full rock guide in 99.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so going back, like how I'm not going to do the math right now. 1997. Here's Chris. How old are you then?
I would have been 21.
21-year-old Chris.
Yeah.
So when did you start climbing?
I was 16.
Right.
Out in Ontario, upstate New York area. I had a cousin who was into it.
So you're from back east?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Eastern Ontario, Brockville.
Brockville. Okay, because I'm from Kawartha Lake, so
Okay.
kind of grew up in the same hood a little bit, like
Little
a couple hours away, 4
Yeah.
hours maybe.
Yeah, it was
So,
like an hour south of Ottawa. right on
Not
the-
really the same kind of quality of climbing as Squamish, BC. So here you are
No.
now, years later, fast forward.
Yep,
You're married, you have one child?
one kid,
What's his name?
Eric.
Eric, and Eric's making barbecue. So thank you, Eric, for the barbecuing for Dad tonight. And
He
you have a
baked me a
lovely
cake
wife as
earlier
well.
today, too.
Yeah, you've got family here.
Yeah.
You've set up this whole community now. Your family is here, or
Yeah.
is there other, like big family back east too?
Yeah, like most of our extended family's back east, with the exception of my parents. When they retired, they moved to Vernon, so
Nice.
there's ski bums out there.
Okay, well that's really good.
Yep.
And so I guess, why did you join SAR? Like, what was the impetus for you to get into search and rescue?
I am a total techno weenie. I
Okay.
love dorking out on equipment and stuff. And when I originally took the TRU Adventure Studies program
Yeah.
back in the mid 90s in Kamloops, as a fresh out of high school Ontario student, in my second year when I took the rope rescue course, I was enamored. I was just like, oh my god, this is put all the techno geekery into one room,
Yeah.
and this is it.
Yeah.
I probably would have also gone further into like whitewater rescue and stuff like that, but I'm terrified of whitewater. Like swift water just makes my skin crawl. I'm so uncomfortable in it, so I kind of ran with the mountain and rock stuff, be it like the improvised ACMG systems, the professional systems that the SAR teams use, and other stuff like that, eventually getting into the rope access skills and stuff
Yeah.
like that as well. Really liked that, and then once I kind of moved to Squamish, settled down a little bit, became a little bit more of a regularly employed person, and had the time to give to SAR, I kind of looked into it, and I realized over the years of living here, at first I'd met a bunch of people who were on the SAR team. Some of them were my good climbing friends and stuff, and just kind of kept asking them, do you think is the SAR team taking anybody on? When's the next time they're doing a recruitment? Do you think it would be a good thing? And I think they were really good about leveling with me on the commitment level that was expected, how it would suck every spare minute away that you ever gave it, so be careful, that kind of thing. And so I really respect people like John Howe and Doug Woods and Perry Beckham for kind of giving me the honest truth on that when I was looking to get into it, and also supporting me as I did get into it. So it was great.
All right, so I'm just realizing this is a great location here with all this background noise.
It's only a cement truck,
It's
Tim.
only a cement truck. Jeez. Did you know that cement trucks here? We put this spot?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. We can go somewhere quieter.
No,
if you
it's all
like.
good. Cement trucks and like that car with the muffler,
Yeah.
or lack of. Yeah, that was
We
awesome.
should have done this on my back deck.
Yeah, this is really good.
We need
It just
mics.
adds to the ambiance. So
Yeah.
we need mics too. There's no mics yet. This is got this really good fire investigator voice recorder. There you
Yep.
go. That's what we're doing today. Day one. This is day one of this, as I
Okay.
said. So, okay, so we've covered off kind of some of the basics here, why you joined
Yep.
SAR and what's important. Now, for your talk here, I guess, I want to kind of, each one of these segments, we're going to pick a topic and kind of geek out on it. Like you are a geek. Yes, absolutely. In a good way. So what kind of information do you feel you could share with some of the people here that are wanting to know more about dual capability, two tension rope systems, kind of the geekery behind the Kirk Montner magic there when it comes to system principles. 20 is often one of those things that we throw out there, guys, it's got to be 20. What does that even mean for some people when it comes to buying the gear?
Right.
You're going to we're making choices right now for our team where edge lines, for example, can we use a 9.5 or a 9 or a 7 mil? I mean, there's all these different materials out there. There's nylon, poly, Technora. What does all that mean? I guess, to get down into the details is how you make decisions, because you're kind of the equipment procurer for Squamish SAR, right?
I'm the technical equipment manager, yeah.
So you kind of give advice to the team. Is that by, in terms of how you guys make your decisions, are you like a dictator?
No, I'm a dick sometimes, but no.
Committee? Do you do committee?
Yeah.
Okay.
For instance, the rope team, all of the TLs on our team,
Yeah.
and any kind of up-and-coming, really promising-looking team members or Tech 1 people as well will be invited to little get-togethers where we'll be discussing where do we want to invest this year's budget for the rope team. Is there anything that we really feel like we're lacking? What direction we want to go with stuff? If we're going to make everybody carry something, it's not going to be my decision that I'm just going to suddenly say you have to add this to your kit. Let's talk about the pros and cons of it. Is it really a worthwhile investment? That kind of thing. So that's where I definitely want it to be a democracy in that respect, and I also don't want to be blaming decisions all on my own. So I guess back to your question about like whole revolving around the 20 km thing, and it's definitely been somewhat of an issue with some teams, and like anything, it's interpretation of our materials that we're working on, right? And
when you say the materials, are you talking about the textiles themselves or the actual manual?
I'm sorry, our teaching materials and stuff, our
Yeah.
course materials that go with it. And, it's no different than someone taking a religious text and taking it like a literal interpretation of every single letter there versus what are they really trying to get across to us? What's implied here?
More ambiance. Oh my. Yelling mothers with strollers. That's a new distraction. It's awesome. She's really angry.
You tell him. You tell him.
Yeah, you go, girl.
I agree.
That is a stop sign.
I agree.
Yes.
She's angry. Woo!
Hangry, baby.
Don't
It's about
cross
that
the
time.
mama bear.
Hangry.
Don't cross the mama bear.
Hangry with kids in tow during COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, we see quite the gamut, from different teams that we travel around the province instructing and stuff. We see people who want very hard and fast rules, just like tell us what rule we have to adhere to, and we see other teams, it usually tends to be the ones who practice a lot, and they're starting to grow into this new system and realize that there is a lot of options open to them, and they can explore beyond the literal translation of stuff and still absolutely adhere by the I hate to say the word rules, but the principles. The principles. That's the word we like to use. The principles of the system, and not get themselves in trouble. So, the great example there you're saying is the 20 kilonewton rule. So yes, everything that we use in the system has to, meet 20 kilonewtons for
in the system.
And what does that mean? Oh well, does that mean a single person on an edge line? Does that mean a hand line in the woods? Does that mean a slope rescue?
So let's just delve into that little geekery there. A hand line in the woods. So I'm approaching, I want to do a search, I want to look over the edge, and some people would say, oh yeah, it's got to be 20. Everything you put there, that guy, he's going out, he's on a rope, it's got to be 20. I think other people realize, no, actually we're not going into a full system here. It's a single person, it's a 1 kilonewton load, and that might be something different, and we're not actually going over the edge, right? So but then there's a lot of the what-ifers.
Totally.
I think that should be a term, what-iffer.
Well, and you can start, you can go to those what-ifers and like take it one step back. Think of it as like a hand line, not an edge line. You've got a little exposed section there where somebody with a heavy pack wants to hold on to something. It doesn't mean they have to be self-belayed or belayed by another member up that section. So does a hand line it's literally a rope railing, does that have to be 20 kilonewtons? No. Could I put a piece of 7 mil cord there and give them something for balance? Yes. Like it's all weighing the consequences versus the probability of something happening, right? If there's a 1,000-foot drop off right there and you're teetering on wet moss,
that consequence is super huge.
Why would you be using a hand line and not be belayed, right? So it's balancing that kind of thing and using the right tool for the job. And so your example of an edge person's line. Some teams are using full 11 mil rope everywhere for that. Great, it's 33-ish kilonewtons. You put a knot in it, great, you lose a little bit. It's still crazy strong. And they like the argument that if I screwed it up and made it too long and could still fall off the edge, it's more than strong enough to catch a falling one person.
For sure.
Okay, great. So...
And then the compromise there, because there's compromise. If you decide to go super big and beef, then you're losing some mobility maybe.
Exactly. It's heavy and stuff like that. And like the opposite side of the coin is, well, why don't we get really good at doing it? Why don't we get really good at checking each other and and we recognize that there's an opportunity for us to carry lighter weight equipment as long as it's applied appropriately.
Yeah.
So if I set it up properly and I never ever go out to the edge without being 100% checked by a competent person,
Yeah.
and we've verified ahead of time that I cannot fall on it and simply travel restraint in the industrial world's term,
Yeah.
why can't it be lighter?
Yeah.
It will never take even a one-person load. It stops me from going. So, and some teams are ready to accept that, and other teams aren't. But I mean, there's all kinds of minutia like that.
So what do you, just to give me, you have a unique position in your role here at Climb On, because you're selling gear to SAR teams. And I guess my question is, you're seeing everything from the 11 kilonewton rope down to what? Like, what are you seeing as far as teams making decisions, and what are these educated, I'm hoping these are educated opinions that they're forming based on research, right? That's number one. You got to know what you're picking and why. But are there things that you found to be like, oh wow, that's a really cool system? Like you're kind of gravitating towards what now in Squamish SAR, for example?
I don't think we're getting farther away from. I don't think we're getting away from our basic rope rescue team being in the kind of 11 mil static rope type of realm right now. However, keeping your finger on the pulse of what's happening elsewhere in the world is really important, right? Like you and I are both part of teams that are delving into canyon rescue. Okay. Our team is going on to 9 mil ropes.
Some 9.5, 9, even some 8 mil in the canyoning world, but that's a different kind of cordage. We've got Technora involved, right?
It is, yeah. I mean, some of them are using the HTP 9 mil for stuff like that. And it comes down to mobility, right? Carrying that stuff in there.
Carrying all that rope,
but they're countering the reduction in strength with higher levels of training. Right.
Reduction in strength, but as well as, is there like some of that stuff? There is actually maybe for the size diameter, there might be an increase in strength based on textiles.
It depends on the materials. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. And so we were discussing earlier how some of the mountain rescue teams in Europe are switching over to 8 mil Technora rescue ropes, which are unbelievably strong, sometimes even stronger than our 11 mil lines, approaching the strength sometimes of even half-inch static line. Incredibly strong, incredibly low stretch, which has pros and cons, but it requires a totally different approach, systems and stuff. We're thinking about it
through an MPD.
You're not running. There isn't an MPD for it right now, unfortunately. However, I think what is really expanding people's minds into the possibilities of that is how common it is now for recreational and professional ski tourers getting into the Petzl Radline kit.
The Radline, and it's a good example. Super lightweight.
The other one, Kirk Mothner's.
Yes, the Firefighter Escape Line.
Yeah, I forget what the guide's version kit of that is, with the mini ascender and descender, so the quickie system. Same idea with I think that one uses Sterling's.
And he's got a special descender he's just invented with that, or it's been around. I think it's like a. Is it like a BD ATC, like an ATC guy?
Sure.
I don't know. I can't remember. Okay.
So it's no moving parts.
You know what?
I'm not sure.
I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know anything about it. I'm speculating.
Yeah.
It's not good. So I guess I don't want to take forever here. We've got 19 minutes and 58 seconds on the clock. I told you this would be no more than about 20 minutes. So we could obviously talk for a long time. We could go into all sorts of stuff here. And I'd like will you do this again sometime? We
sure.
Sit down? Okay. So we getting into the issues here about the details and the nitty gritty. I think I don't want to take forever and talk about certain topics. Just we could get really lost in this, but I do think it's important to visit these individual questions that come up, and we've talked about a little bit today. Is there something that actually? One thing we talked about a little bit that's super relevant right now was how do you keep your SAR team, your rope team members motivated during COVID? And we talked about how I found it to be super demotivating not to be able to go to team training events right now. And you mentioned the same thing. And can you share something about your thoughts on that and why it was that you joined SAR in the first place and how this is impacting you as a team member? Not so much as a rope team leader or whatever, but just go on that for a minute.
Yeah, no, I think that was really interesting because it wasn't that long ago where I actually kind of came to that little bit of an epiphany that, you know, a bunch of us with the SAR team had, you know, brainstormed early on in this pandemic situation of what we were going to do to kind of encourage continuing training as best we could. Like, what can you practice from home? How are we going to support that? Are we going to put little training videos out? Are we going to have webinars? Are we going to have Zoom meetings?
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff. I have found very few of our training organizers and members have been, way fewer than I would have expected, and myself included, have been actually following through with it.
Yeah. What do you call it? You called it something.
Well,
Not derogatory.
No.
It's just a fact. It is what it is. It's good intentions.
What did I call it? Yeah,
good intentions.
The best
We're
of
full of good intentions.
Yeah,
but
and
not a lot of follow through.
I was absolutely shocked as a normally a complete introvert. I was shocked at, I think, the level of personal gain I get from the social aspect of our team.
Yeah.
And how much, once that was removed, how my motivation waned for putting together training exercises that weren't face to face.
Yeah.
It was massive. I'm still struggling with it. It was
struggling.
on my to-do list today, and I didn't.
This isn't solved. This is us struggling with reality of COVID.
And I don't know how to change that. I don't know whether getting together with others on social media, which actually does help in the moment.
The Zoom meeting, yeah.
It does help right there. I feel the
Hangouts.
motivation kind of ramp up, and then we get off the call, and it's just like,
yeah. So just to share a few examples of that. So you guys are doing Zoom meetings. CVSAR joined, Coquitlam SAR is doing, they ran with the ball. Jordan Wycherley and Nick Zupan and Kevin Ristow put out like this regional invite for Zoom meetings, which has been fantastic for their rope team stuff. And they're even doing other types of training, like tonight's a COVID protocol training. That's what they're doing. Which I think is super important to look at too. That's for another day, like topic wise. Like how do you respond to a rope call in a COVID world? You know, how are you gonna decon all your gear, all that stuff. But anyway, I think we'll just sum it up by saying there's lots of challenges all solved, but I think sitting here talking today, this is something we're doing that's proactive, that maybe others will start talking and have some discussions, whether maybe they won't be in person, but at least we can share it on the Zoom meeting or send it through some sort of web link or whatever. But I think just having discussion with your peers and calling up your friends in the team, maybe even sitting on a tailgate 2 meters apart with our clients.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. And by the way, we just want to say this entire conversation,
it's a wide angle lens. It's closer than it
2
looks.
meters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has very long arms.
And we didn't share the beer balls we each have our own.
Nope.
So, okay.
Safety first.
Yeah, safety first. I don't have anything else to say because I really want you to get off to your birthday party.
Thank you.
I thank you very much for sitting here in this beautiful Squamish, and we'll look forward to the next topic. We can talk about that, and until then, you can send a list of other victims to me. If you have some victims you think I should go interview down the road. I'm not sure how often we're going to do this, but the goal is going to be to put together this little, maybe it's going to be monthly, something like that. I can't see myself being motivated during COVID to do anything more than maybe a monthly thing. So we'll see how that goes. And let's just try and do more rope rescue good things. I think rope rescue is awesome. I'm as geeky as you are in a lot of ways.
So we get along so well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for, now you're one step ahead of me because you've actually done
but we did.
It wasn't on my to-do list, but
and you sold me a bunch of cool gear today.
Yeah, I did.
I must say, I got some things I probably shouldn't have bought today, but that's okay.
Appreciate the business.
Anyway, yeah, so go out and support your local climbing stores. A little shot. This guy here, Climb On, gear guy, he's pretty knowledgeable. And if your SAR team needs stuff, I know of some other good folks out there locally. I don't want to be shameless and just Climb On. We'll say Coast Ropes is out there doing stuff. Of course, you got
lots
good
of great
people.
small businesses supporting our teams.
Support your local BC small businesses, folks. That's all I can say. And you know what? It's easier because you can't get it shipped to Canada anyway because everything's shut down at the border. So try and shop local. That's it for me, and that's it. Leaving Squamish, it was pretty much time for the weekly training that Coquitlam Search and Rescue had been putting on through the Google Meet platform. And so I drove and listened. We talked about COVID-19. I heard about a task debrief and about safety around the use of masks. It was really super interesting. There's many different ways that teams are dealing with this pandemic, and it's super inspiring to see people coming together from all different backgrounds, and many of the folks on the call are contributing. And not only that, they're asking questions. They're really digging into what's going on in the world right now and what can they do to become better, stronger rescuers. I started to think about David and my friend who was going to be leaving soon. He was heading up to Prince George and we were going to be missing him for the summer, and thought about all the different things that we'd hoped to be doing by now and all the adventures ahead. But in any event, David was going to be coming by on the weekend and I'd have a chance to speak to him on Saturday. Sure enough, he showed up and we had a great chat. So without further ado, here we are getting into our interview with David Monagas. It's recording right now. I look at the inspiration for this. It's been Chris Wile's A Normal Cast for climbers. And then there's that one done by the American Alpine Institute called The Sharp End. All right, so this is the first official cast yet to be named. We're sitting here today on March 13th, 2020 with our Coronas. This is the best kind of Corona to have right here. Yeah. If you're going to have Corona, get a case of this.
The good Corona.
Not the other kind of Corona. Stay away from the other Corona. So, David Monagas, welcome to the podcast yet to be named. We're going to have to talk about that.
Thanks
You are a friend of mine that I've known. We're going to figure this out now. So, I joined SAR in 2010 at CFB SAR. You joined CFB SAR what year?
Might have been 2016.
2016. Okay, so we've known each other for 4 years. Okay, and so I have to say your nickname on the team. Do you know what your nickname is? Of course you do.
Serial killer.
We've caught David reading books like, what was that?
Rage Therapy.
Rage Therapy. Yeah, the Rage Therapy book. That was the moment that for sure in my mind I knew this man has got some rage issues.
No. It's because of the Nico Weiss training video.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm biting into a snowpack, and then I'm nicknamed the Ice Pack Serial Killer.
Ice Pack Serial Killer.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I like that. Jeez. Anyway, so we've known each other for 4 years. You right away, I just saw this adventurous spirit where you were super interested in rope stuff and climbing. I don't know much of your origin before you joined SAR. Like, for example, how long have you been climbing before SAR? Or did you get into it? How'd you get into it?
I didn't get into it when I was younger. I got into it after secondary, not after BCIT.
Okay.
And
how old were you then?
I was probably 20.
20 years
29
old.
now.
29 now. Okay. So in your 20s, you got into climbing, and who got you into it? Where'd you first climb?
My friends got me into it, Grayson and Terrell Krieger.
Okay.
We used to go to the gym, the Rockwell and Pep Meadows.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to climb the Chief. I would always see people climbing, so I wanted to learn how to climb. Mm-hmm. So I joined this gym, and eventually I joined the climbing team there, and I took around 4 summer climbing courses with Terry Spiro.
Yeah.
And he taught me almost everything I know about rock climbing.
Terry Spiro. So Terry's the owner of the rock gym there.
Yeah.
And Terry's got a lovely daughter, doesn't he? Hey?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Tell us the story about Terry's daughter.
Christy Spiro is
Hello, Christy.
awesome climber. She's climbed professionally for many years. She's recently retired from professional climbing.
Yeah.
And she also taught me a lot about climbing. And
the most important part, David, come on, get to it here.
We're dating.
You're dating? Yeah.
Yeah, we're dating.
She's a lovely girl.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so bottom line is climbing actually has impacted your life, not only from something to do, but it's given you even a personal connection to people, where you've met some great people, Terry and then his daughter and other friends, I'm sure. Like, I don't know if you met Mitch Kozlik through that.
I met Mitch through the climbing wall.
Yeah.
He's an awesome friend. He's been teaching me a lot about
arborist
style tree climbing.
Yeah.
I met my other friend, John, who joined the gym to learn how to rappel so he could canyon better.
Yeah.
And we learned to canyon together as well, so he got me into canyoning.
So you've been doing exploration canyoning, first descents, with a guy you met through a climbing gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So your origin then, as far as that's your personal sort of story, and you've gone on to climb the Chief a bunch of times with friends, and I would consider you to be a pretty confident climber. You're climbing at like a 5 what level?
Like maybe trad 510. Haven't tried anything harder. And like sport, harder 11s.
And you were actually winning some like bouldering competitions a couple of years ago. You were often.
Sometimes I would win, and depends on who showed up against me. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so then in SAR, you decided to join a rope rescue team, and you became part of our rope committee and went through what we call the induction of a rope MIT, and it's during a period of transition, because in 2016 we were going from an older system. There had been a movement to sort of begin looking at the old way of doing things with a dedicated main and dedicated belay.
Yeah.
And
long story short, getting to Arne Larsen, I took several classes from Arne in the early days before Kirk Mothner was around. The people that are teaching you. It makes them better, and it makes you better at thinking. Because you don't want to hook, line, and sinker just because the guy says it. You got to follow it. You want to question it. So I started questioning this. Nope, nothing's sacred here, gentlemen. Always question. So in those early years, as I learned more and started to ask questions of the guy who was teaching me, if you're worth your salt, you're going to question your instructor. Because it not only does a couple things, it makes your instructor have to work for what he's telling you, right? He has to research it and make sure he's giving you the correct information. But it also makes you better as a critical thinker. You want to be critical. And what Tom just said is that we've always done it that way, so why change it? Well, that's not good enough for me. So I started to argue with Arne Larsen early on in his classes. If you ask him, or ask Rick Lipke from Conterra, Rick was there in the very first class. But we used to argue with Arne. And I'll tell you right now, the guy is a super smart guy, and 95% of the arguments I lost. I got pretty badly bloodied in arguments with Arne Larsen. He says the BCSAR belay competency drop test indicates a 1 meter drop onto 3 meters of rope. That's the worst case scenario.
And we're moving into something called dual capability 2-tension rope systems. So you were right on the cusp of that change. And so can you maybe share from your perspective as a growing team member and developing your skill sets, what was it like, and what's been important to you in that process?
Well, it was confusing because we were learning both systems at the same time.
You had to have that knowledge of the one system until the other system was like approved, right?
Yeah, but I admitted after I learned the DCTRS, it was pretty obvious the advantages of it. It's a lot faster, and seeing the videos of the ropes dropping on that ledge, it was also obvious how much safer it was.
So we were looking at some videos done by Kirk Mothner at the time, the testing that he had been doing, where he showed the comparison between dedicated main, dedicated belay drop tests versus a dual capability 2-tension rope system drop test, and the clear evidence of sharp edge being a hazard, and basically the potential for both ropes severing on a dedicated main and dedicated belay. So as you developed in that, so your skills are, I would say, like in terms of proficiency with skills, things like tying knots, tying anchors, you're higher level than a lot of folks. Because why? Why is that? Like why have you been able to get it into your head what you need to do when operating as an operator on a rope rescue team?
Because it's a personal hobby. Rope work is a personal hobby with my climbing and canyoning. So I already knew these things before joining search and rescue.
basic things like the tying of the knots.
Yeah, all the
handling
basic
rope.
things
Yeah.
except the search and rescue rope system.
Okay.
So
Personal life has come into your SAR life, and there's been some benefits, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it's exposure, it's practice time, and it's hands on the rope time.
yeah.
Okay. What about what have you found to be extra helpful things aside from SAR, aside from the going out and doing recreating? Have there been other things that you've done to learn?
Lots of personal practice with the SAR curriculum.
So you've taken the manual.
Yeah, the manual, not only on SAR practice days, but there's videos online.
Mhm.
There's, if you want to be a proficient SAR member, you have to put in your own practice time as well.
Okay, how much practice time would you say you put in a year? Like, what's to you is the what have you done in 20? Let's go back to 2019, pre-COVID. How many hours do you figure you put in last year as a rope team?
I have
practice?
no idea, man. Like, I have no idea.
And this brings up logging.
Yeah, terrible. I am a terrible logger. You guys should
Terrible
learn
logger.
to log better.
We need to log
My
better.
logbook says I haven't practiced,
Okay.
but I would practice weekly.
Yeah.
So
I know personally, having been out on a number of training courses, events where we were out doing rope stuff together, you've probably got at least 60 hours. I've seen you out in the field with the minimum of that. So you need to do a better job logging.
probably.
And we do have logging tools within the team, and it's certainly we're all guilty of not doing it right away. And I think the secret there is do it right away.
Yeah, the secret's to it. Like right after training,
Yeah.
just write it down.
Write it down. Yeah.
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 That's right.
It's a persistent problem. We
Yeah.
all have that issue. So, okay. So, but there's some other things. I just want to draw this out that you haven't just done courses through SAR. You took a Tech 1 course, correct, or not yet?
No SAR courses.
Oh, no
I'm
SAR
always-
course yet, because it's been rare to get a
It's
SAR
been rare
course,
to get a SAR course,
Yeah.
and now that it's available, I'm leaving. I'm going
You're going to work.
to work. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're basically still a rope MIT,
Yeah.
but you're operating it like you're able to ascend and descend ropes. You're able to operate a full DCTRS system.
I'm probably
You're
Tech
level,
1.
You're a level 1 canyon guide. You're certified through the International Canyon Guides Association now with Rich Carlson and
yeah.
Joe Storm. So you did your testing there and your audit.
Oh, I'll be gone soon.
Oh no, not the waterfall! Swim!
Not that anyone will notice.
Swim!
Just have to go with the flow.
Don't worry,
I'm not. Can't change the inevitable.
mustn't give up here. I'll save you.
We'll see.
So you've got some verified skills, but not yet through SAR. So
Not
it's
yet
kind of a
through SAR.
weird situation for you to be in, right? You're wanting those courses, and you'll take those courses
Yeah.
eventually. But in the absence of that, you have taken some courses, right? What have you taken that was beneficial that you recently, in the let's say,
Is this SAR
4
based
years?
or just
no,
like,
just personal stuff? Because I know you went on some extra courses and
Oh
training.
yeah. I've taken like 8 climbing courses, lots of multi-pitch climbing courses. I took the Tech 1 Canyon Guide course. We've done stuff
Mm.
with Rich Carlson.
Yeah, you went to those seminars down.
Yeah,
at
I went to the
Carlton
seminars
Rescue?
or Carlton Rescue.
Yeah, and you
Done
did
those.
Joe Storms with Rocky Mountain Canyoning, gave you a SAR specific canyon rescue course that
Yeah.
was covered a lot of things, including rescue with dual capability systems, two tension rope systems. That was a scenario. Okay, now those other courses that you took, the aid climbing, for example, multi-pitch climbing, where did you do that?
Squamish.
Okay, and who'd you use? What'd you find? Was
I
good
used
there?
rock
Oh,
wall.
it's framed. It's recording right now. Okay. I'm just going to here, just move for 2 seconds. Just got to get in there just to look. Just making sure it's recording. Dave, you want to take a look? Come take a look. What do you think of that angle? The angle of the dangle.
Wait, you want to sit here? How's it look?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Is it gonna cover where you are?
Yeah, fully. Wide screen. Goes right
Alright.
to there and it goes right to there.
Cool.
Oh, I'll get the full Arc'teryx sign. That's what I'll do. Cause I'm an Arc'teryx geek. You want to take a look at it or no? Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. Ready.
All right, so this is the first official podcast, yet to be named. We're sitting here today on March 13th, 2020 with our Coronas. Okay, and that's what we can do for a start, is have a bit of a sense of humor, because this coronavirus is certainly, it's not funny, but we certainly, I don't know, whatever. Coronas. This is the best kind of Corona to have right here. Yeah. If you're gonna have Corona, get a case of this.
The good Corona.
Not the other kind of Corona. Stay away from the other Corona. So, David Monagas, welcome to the podcast yet to be named. We're going to have to talk about that.
Thanks
You are a friend of mine that I've known. We're going to figure this out now. So, I joined SAR in 2010 at CFV SAR. You joined CFV SAR what year?
Might have been 2016.
2016. Okay, so we've known each other for 4 years. Okay, and so I have to say your nickname on the team. Do you know what your nickname is? Of course you do.
Serial killer.
Serial killer. We've caught David reading books like what was that?
Rage Therapy.
Rage Therapy. Yeah, the Rage Therapy book. That was the moment that, for sure, in my mind, I knew this man has got some rage issues.
No, it's because of the Nico Weiss training video.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm biting into a snowpack, and then I'm nicknamed the Ice Pack Serial Killer.
Ice Pack Serial Killer.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I like that. Jeez. Anyway, so we've known each other for 4 years. You right away, I just saw this adventurous spirit where you were super interested in rope stuff and climbing. I don't know much of your origin before you joined SAR. Like, for example, how long have you been climbing before SAR? Or did you get into it? How'd you get into it?
I didn't get into it when I was younger. I got into it after secondary, not after BCIT.
Okay.
And
how old were you then?
I was probably 20.
20 years
29
old.
now.
29 now. Okay. So in your 20s, you got into climbing, and who got you into it? Where'd you first climb?
My friends got me into it, Grayson and Terrell Krieger.
Okay.
We used to go to the gym, the Rockwell and Pep Meadows.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to climb the Chief. I would always see people climbing, so I wanted to learn how to climb.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined this gym, and eventually I joined the climbing team there. And I took around 4 summer climbing courses with Terry Spiro.
Yeah.
And he taught me almost everything I know about rock climbing.
Terry Spiro. So Terry's the owner of the rock gym there.
Yeah.
And Terry's got a lovely daughter, doesn't he? Hey?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Tell us the story about Terry's daughter.
Christy Spiro is
Hello, Christy.
awesome climber. She's climbed professionally for many years. She's recently retired from professional climbing.
Yeah.
And she also taught me a lot about climbing. And
the most important part, David, come on, get to it here.
We're dating.
You're dating? Yeah.
Yeah, we're dating.
She's a lovely girl.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so bottom line is climbing actually has impacted your life, not only from something to do, but it's given you even a personal connection to people, where you've met some great people, Terry and then his daughter and other friends, I'm sure. I don't know if you met Mitch Kozlik through that.
I met Mitch through the climbing wall.
Yeah.
He's an awesome friend. He's been teaching me a lot about
arborist
style tree climbing.
Yeah.
I met my other friend John,
mm-hmm.
who joined the gym to learn how to rappel so he could canyon better.
Yeah.
And we learned to canyon together as well, so he got me into canyoning.
So you've been doing exploration canyoning, first descents, with a guy you met through a climbing gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So your origin then, as far as that's your personal sort of story, and you've gone on to climb the Chief a bunch of times with friends, and I would consider you to be a pretty confident climber. You're climbing at a 5 what level?
Maybe trad 510. Haven't tried anything harder.
Mm-hmm.
And sport, harder 11s.
And you were actually winning some like bouldering competitions a couple of years ago. You were often.
Sometimes I would win. It depends on who showed up against me. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so but then in SAR, you decided to join a rope rescue team, and you became part of our rope committee and went through what we call the induction of a rope MIT, and it's during a period of transition because in 2016 we were going from an older system. There had been a movement to sort of begin looking at the old way of doing things with a dedicated main and dedicated belay, and we were moving into something called dual capability 2-tension rope systems. So you were right on the cusp of that change. And so can you maybe share from your perspective as a growing team member and developing your skill sets, what was it like and what's been important to you in that process?
Well, it was confusing because we were learning both systems at the same time.
You had to have that knowledge of the one system until the other system was like approved, right?
Yeah, but I admitted after I learned the DCTRS, it was pretty obvious the advantages of it. It's a lot faster, and seeing the videos of the ropes dropping on that ledge, it was also obvious how much safer it was.
So we were looking at some videos done by Kirk Mottner at the time, the testing that he had been doing where he showed the comparison between dedicated main, dedicated belay drop tests versus a dual capability 2-tension rope system drop test, and the clear evidence of sharp edge being a hazard, and basically the potential for both ropes severing on a dedicated main, dedicated belay. So as you developed in that, so your skills are, I would say, like in terms of proficiency with skills, things like tying knots, tying anchors, you're higher level than a lot of folks, because why? Why is that? Like why have you been able to get it into your head what you need to do when operating as an operator on a rope rescue team?
Because it's a personal hobby. Rope work is a personal hobby with my climbing and canyoning. So I already knew these things before joining search and rescue.
Basic things like the tying of the knots.
Yeah, all the basic things except the search and rescue rope system.
Okay. So personal life has come into your SAR life, and there's been some benefits, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it's exposure, it's practice time, and it's hands on the rope time.
Yeah.
Okay. What about what have you found to be extra helpful things aside from SAR, aside from the going out and doing recreating? Have there been other things that you've done to learn?
Lots of personal practice with the SAR curriculum.
So you've taken the manual.
Yeah, the manual, not only on SAR practice days, but there's videos online. There's, if you want to be a proficient SAR member, you have to put in your own practice time as well.
Okay, how much practice time would you say you put in a year? Like what's to you is the what have you done in let's go back to 2019, pre-COVID. How many hours do you figure you put in last year as a rope team?
I have no idea, man. Like, I have no idea.
And this brings up logging.
Right? Terrible. I have a terrible logger. You guys should learn to log better.
We need to log better.
My logbook says I haven't practiced.
Okay.
But I would practice weekly.
Yeah.
So
I know personally, having been out on a number of training courses, events where we were out doing rope stuff together, you've probably got at least 60 hours. I've seen you out in the field with the minimum of that. So you need to do a better job logging.
Probably.
And we do have logging tools within the team, and it's certainly we're all guilty of not doing it right away. And I think the secret there is do it right away.
Yeah, the secret's do it like right after training. Just write it down.
Write it down. Yeah. It's a persistent problem. We all have that issue. So, okay. So, but there's some other things. I just want to draw this out that you haven't just done courses through SAR. You took a Tech 1 course, correct? Or not yet?
No SAR courses.
No SAR course yet. Because it's been rare to get a SAR course. It's been rare
to get a SAR course. Yeah. And now that it's available, I'm leaving. You're
going to work.
Going to work. So. Yeah.
So you're basically still a rope MIT.
Yeah. But
you're operating it like you're able to ascend and descend ropes. You're able to operate a full DCTRS system.
I'm probably
you're
Tech 1.
You're a level 1 canyon guide. You're certified through the International Canyon Guides Association now with Rich Carlson and Joe Storm. So you did your testing there and your audit. So you've got some verified skill, but not yet through SAR. So
Not
it's
yet
kind of a
through SAR.
weird situation for you to be in, right? You're wanting those courses, and you'll take those courses
Yeah.
eventually. But in the absence of that, you have taken some courses, right? What have you taken? All right, so we were just saying, so besides the rock wall, who did you use to develop your skills? It was some guy up in Squamish or something?
Some guy, I forgot his name. He leads in Squamish, and he taught me how to do big wall climbing and aid climbing.
Right.
We did all of that in the Smoke Bluffs.
Smoke Bluffs.
Yeah.
So you did some aid climbing, some multi-pitch, learned how to multi-pitch,
Yeah.
did a big wall. And that was through like an ACMG guide. So you recommend courses through ACMG guides?
Definitely, yeah. If you want to build your skill set, if you can afford it, it's
How much it
pretty
cost you?
safe. It was like $600 because we split it between a bunch of us.
Oh, nice. A couple
Yeah.
people together. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did an ice climbing course up in, with Galena Guides up in David Thompson country this past winter season. And a member of Coquitlam SAR went with me. It was awesome. We had a really good time. So, yeah, absolutely recommend that. And taking Kirk Montner's courses if you can, the Base Camp Innovations.
Yeah.
So, definitely, there's lots of opportunity out there to take courses. So, the question on the plate here is, what do we do in a COVID time to develop our skills? And you had some ideas, even without being able to go to the team training. What are you doing right now? You practice at home?
I practice at home. I look at the Columbia Bible Studies videos.
Oh yeah, so there's like the Columbia Bible College has a
Yeah.
series of 4 videos that they filmed.
Yeah, they're
for
on
the
YouTube.
students. Yeah, they're on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're going to provide some links through this podcast. There'll be links to each of those videos so people can see them. And they show, what do they show? There's like a raise, a lower, a
And
not pass on a
not pass
raise,
on a
and a not
raise.
pass on a lower.
Yes.
And it's all using component system. Just the, I don't
Scarab.
think- were they using the Scarab or were they using a brake bar rack? I can't remember.
They use a Scarab.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Perfect. But you could use a brake bar rack. You could
You can
use
still
an
use-
Italian hitch. You could
Yeah.
use an MPD. You could, all different ways to do
Whatever
it.
you have, as
Yeah.
long as it's approved, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. And so for your home rigging practice kit, we talked about some of the things that you like to have at home. And what are you typically practicing with? Like, be pretty detailed here for people if they want to build their own home practice kit.
Well, the minimum you could use a munter. So you need,
Italian hitch.
Italian hitch.
Yeah.
You need a lot of carabiners. You need, even if you don't have Dyneema things, you could use regular webbing. You could tie that off.
Yeah, so 60 centimeters sewn, pre-sewn Dyneema, or
Yeah.
and also 120 centimeter Dyneema. And you talked about the Italian hitch, but yeah, if you can get a Scarab, get a
If you can get
Scarab.
a Scarab.
Now, one of the things that makes it pretty easy for rigging practice we found was those Petzl 3-hole map plates.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those at home? You using one of those?
Yeah, it's Tim issued. I got one.
Okay, team issued, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could also go larger if you want a 5-hole map plate, whatever. In the video, they actually show it done with a 5-hole map plate. That's how the videos are recorded, right?
Yeah, it's a recommended pre-rigged system
For what we
the
do
team.
with our team. Yeah,
Yeah.
We're doing that in our pre-rigged systems. Okay, so a map plate of some type, and then probably about 7 carabiners maybe, just in general. If you had somewhere between 5 to 7 carabiners, I think that would be a bare minimum. And as far as the rope, 11 mil rope, just a chunk of that, and some 8 millimeter prusik cordage as well. You're going to need that.
Yeah, if you guys have retired rope, you can borrow those.
Yeah. And then a weight. You need to have some sort of weight on the end of that rope. So whether that's a person tied into a harness or
Just a backpack.
bag of cement,
Bag of
backpack.
cement. Rig it through. If you
Couple
don't have
bricks.
pulleys, you could use carabiners, but it'll
Sure.
add a lot of friction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can do raises and lowers, changeovers. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then there's all sorts of stuff you can practice with that besides dual capability.
That's if you want to practice your tech SAR skills.
Yeah.
But I think being proficient in your personal skills makes you smoother,
Yeah.
which makes you faster. So if you do a lot of extracurricular activities where you're rappelling, you're building anchors, now you're very accustomed to that. So when you do it for search and rescue, it's natural. You don't really have to think about it. You can just make your anchors.
You're going away to Prince George. You're going to be working all summer with the bears in the
Yeah,
bush. You get
that's awesome.
shotguns and tree planting and counting and all that sort of stuff. Not planting, counting, right?
Counting.
Okay.
Surveying.
So don't get mauled or eaten by a bear.
No, bears are really chill. They're just big dogs.
Okay. That's awesome. And so we want you to come back and do another episode where we're talking more about other things like your Tech 2 skills in development. For example, your ascending and descending. Okay, well, I appreciate you coming down today. You're on your way. You're leaving Friday. Taking your van, all your possessions. You got an uncle up there. You'll see him. And yeah, maybe we'll be chatting on the phone about something and do a recording, and who knows. Any last words?